Alright, and with Pokemon Legends Z officially out, people are seeming to despise the game and be very disappointed by the price and quality of the games. And people are also not such great fans of the design of many of the Mega Pokemon. On this channel, however, we tend to focus solely on the competitive scene. We could use the ugliest monster as long as it's yielding us the results we desire. It does not matter what it looks like. It could be an eyesore. We'll spam it on the ladder or in tournament. However, folks, I must admit that upon further meditation on this case, I've come to the conclusion that many of the new Megas that people were excited for are actually rather mid. So today I thought we'd just take a look at 3 Mega Pokemon that are not going to live up to their hype. Before we hop into it, folks, let me know what you think about the Mega Pokemon that are available in Legends ZA. Even though they are not available in the official competitive formats, it's still fun to craft theories and ideas. And as discussed, I am quite disappointed. I think lots of these Megas are going to be rather underwhelming when they eventually become legal. We started with something with the Pokemon that has not changed much from its regular counterpart, and I'm going to be very, very lenient with this Pokemon. I'm going to assume that this Pokemon is going to receive the strong jaw ability. You can't give it a giant jaw on its back that snaps down with tremendous force and then not give it strong jaw ability. That's not happening. The comparison I'd like to make is Sheer Force Life Orb Feraligatr with Mega Feraligatr. I believe that the purpose of Feraligatr is to do some Dragon Dance sweeping, both for regular and Mega, and although Feraligatr's defenses did go up by a substantial margin, I don't believe it is a game-changing factor. The part of Feraligatr that we need to consider is the damage output. There's no point in investing so much into a Mega slot, only to maybe just survive one extra attack and then have your sweep cut. It's too much of a price to pay. Whereas I could just potentially just use regular Feraligatr and perform a very similar task. For those of you who do not know, I assume everybody does know, but Sheer Force boosts all moves with secondary effects by 1.3 times, and the Life Orb basically adds the secondary effect of losing HP after an attack. So Life Orb boosts your damage by 1.3 times as well. So Sheer Force and Life Orb tend to stack together, and you do not take the recoil because of the Sheer Force nullifying all the secondary effects. I just did a few random calculations, and I used Mew as an example because Mew is base 100 across the board, and I gave it max HP. If we look at the power of Mega Feraligatr with Crunch, 77.7 to 89%. This is an adamant nature with maximum speed. It fails to one-hit KO a aggressive Pokemon or a bulky Pokemon like Mew, and Mew can probably ruin its day with something like Will-O-Wisp in response. But comparing it with classical regular Feraligatr, the Mega Feraligatr does a substantial amount more than its regular counterpart, but both Feraligatrs are still 2-hit KOing the Mew at the end of the day. So it's not as if the base 160 attack is taking your power up to the stratosphere. The reason I don't think Feraligatr is that bad compared to some of the other Megas we will end up discussing is because you finally can use Scale Shot as Dragon Stab if you want to. Although the potential that you'll only be hitting the opponent twice with your Scale Shot is quite high, it's still something decent that Feraligatr possesses. But the problem I have with Mega Feraligatr is that the speed stat remain the same. A lot of Choice Scarfers are going to be quicker than you after a Dragon Dance, especially if you're rocking Adamant. 78 is not workable speed if you want to be an all-out aggressive attacker. Sure, after a single Dragon Dance, regular Feraligatr fails to KO Mew, and its Ice Punch is also not that extraordinarily powerful. Whereas Mega Feraligatr at +1 attack. The Ice Fang is also not impressive. The Scale Shot is not impressive, as presuming lucky 3 hits. And of course Crunch will be a guaranteed 1-hit KO, but come on guys, that's not impressive by any stretch of the imagination. The function that regular Feraligatr with a Life Orb will be performing compared to Mega Feraligatr is going to remain largely the same. Unless this Pokemon gets blessed with moves like Vicious Rend, I don't see Feraligatr finding so much use for all that power that it possesses. One thing I believe that may end up counting in Feraligatr's favor, more than I'm giving it credit for, is that it is now a dragon type as well. So perhaps a dragon typing with a little bit of extra bulk will go a long way, because you are no longer weak to electric and grass, making you potentially able to set up alongside those types of Pokemon. But yes, the playstyle will be largely the same, and one Pokemon that I know everybody's going to be shocked to hear that might be worse is Mega Clefable. Of course, Mega Clefable boasts even better stats, and we all know how seemingly unkillable regular Clefable can be. The defense is jolted up tremendously. The problem with Mega Clefable is that the flying typing is adding a lot of layers of weakness onto this Pokemon. The wonderful part about the mono fairy typing is that the moves that are super effective are few and far between. Steel Stab is not common, and Steel Coverage is even less so. Poison Coverage is around here and there, but not that common. And Poison Stab as well, not that common in a game-to-game basis. But what is common in a game-to-game basis is Electric Stab. Electric attacks in general, like Volt Switch, Rock Stab, and Rock attacks in general, and Rock Coverage, and mainly Ice attacks. Those three weaknesses are going to make Clefable's life a little bit more miserable. I was even very lenient with Mega Clefable and gifted it the Magic Guard ability. But believe it or not, friends, I truly believe, even with Magic Guard, that Clefable may end up receiving, in inverted commas, the Mega Garchomp treatment, where it will only be overused because its normal counterpart is still performing its same feats. Clefable also possesses 0 leftovers recovery if it decides to Mega Evolve. I can see many uses for a defensive monster like Clefable, as we've seen Togekiss put in very good work with somewhat worse stats in some departments, but I think this is one that's going to take a little bit of getting used to. We're not used to seeing Clefable having to run in fear in front of common Pokemon. Like Landorus is going to threaten you if it Swords Dances. Now you have to fear for +2 Stone Edge or Rock Slide or something. Even Smackdown's going to smack you. And everyone and their mom is packing some type of ice coverage. So it's going to make the soft boil button be spammed a lot more on a game-to-game basis compared to how much Clefable was forced to heal off. Clefable is largely a support Pokemon, and it uses its massive HP plus the leftovers recovery and the somewhat decent defenses to perform that supportive role. The parts of Mega Clefable that got buffed the most was the special attack. There are all-out sweeper, Life Orb Clefables and Carmine Clefables, yes. It's not playing that kind of role where we want to get one Carmine and crush the entire team. It's way too slow for that purpose. What it desires to do is take no residual damage, heal up passively with the leftovers recovery, and go from there. Even sometimes you could be in the grassy terrain and your regular Clefable would be healing doubly so. Mega Clefable can't even take advantage of any grassy terrain nor leftovers, and is Stealth Rock weak, should it not possess Magic Guard. But of course only time will tell, as we have to wait and see what the abilities shall be. Folks, if you have been enjoying this video thus far and enjoyed listening to my opinion regarding this matter, leave a like and make sure to subscribe, as we shall be doing a lot more of these. But I also encourage you to point out what you think about my opinions, and what do you think about these 3 megas I've chosen to expose today. I think the biggest disappointment that we are currently going to be facing is Mega Chandelure. Mega Chandelure's defenses went up quite tremendously, but the HP is what lets it down. Maybe you can sponge off a stray knockoff here and there, but the problem I have with Chandelure is it's Stealth Rock weak. It has to run fear of certain knockoffs, and regular Chandelure wasn't wanting for power. What it is wanting for is speed and safety. Regular Chandelure can adjust its speed, the Choice Scarf item. Yes, it has the downside of locking you in, but as I said, it wasn't wanting for power. Not many things were wanting to switch in versus Chandelure, because the Ghost Fire coverage was very, very good, coming off of that grand special attack stat. Regular Chandelure could play a variety of playstyles. If you wanted to switch it in repeatedly, you could rock heavy duty boots. It has setup opportunity with Carmine. It could crush stall Pokemon with leftovers substitute and Carmining up. It beats Blissey in that regard in earlier generations. Mega Chandelure has no such options. It's going to have to fire off ultra powerful Fire Stab. Blissey will eat this thing alive. I can't trick a Choice Scarf away to Blissey or to any fat sucker that desires to switch in and wall me. I'm forced to attack, and definitely my attacks are going to be resisted or denied. We've seen metagames where Mega Alakazam has the same special attack stat, but Grand Speed, and it had Calm Mind, with worse coverage and worse typing. Mega Alakazam was broken in Generation 7. Are you telling me that Chandelure is going to now one-up or perform in a similar fashion to Mega Alakazam? I do not believe you, by any stretch of the imagination, because there's no means to hit special sponges. You're gonna have to play dangerous mind games, and if the hazards are up, your time is ticking. I genuinely believe that Mega Chandelure is one of the biggest letdowns, because the stats are so promising, but there's not much that it can do. The regular counterpart with a Life Orb probably outclasses it in terms of damage, and can play a variety of different roles for your team. Especially the common Choice Scarf. Just trick your Scarf away and you've already served your purpose. And there we have it, folks. These are the 3 Megas I am most disappointed by in terms of their competitive viability. At least this is what I'm presuming to be the case at this stage in time. Perhaps Mega Chandelure, for example, will eventually receive the Shadow Tag ability, and then that thing's going to be obviously clearly banned to Ubers, because you can clearly pick and choose who you want to destroy and how you want to destroy them on the opponent's team, if you have the option to make your opponent a sitting duck like that. And maybe Clefable has some super magic guard that could make up for the weaknesses that it has acquired due to the flying typing. There's no flying stab, I believe, that Clefable is going to be spamming, Mega Clefable is going to be spamming to justify that added typing. You may have noticed that we didn't talk about Pokemon like Mega Pyro or Mega Malamar or Mega Frostlass for example. That is because, folks, those Pokemon are outright trash. Nobody's debating that by any stretch of the imagination. Everybody knows that those stats, although good, are not worth the commitment to Mega Evolve for Malamar and Pyro. The move pool is dull and dreary. That's why we didn't discuss those two today. You all know already what's going on there. I'm not convinced that everybody understands that Clefable may actually fail, and so will Chandelure and Feraligatr potentially too, but I digress. If you did enjoy this video, folks, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as we shall be doing a lot more of these. But until next time, folks, we shall be U-turning out. Thanks for watching.